Hey, History on the Rocks podcast listeners. This episode is sponsored by the Art of Manliness podcast. If you're sick of having to wade through 2 hours of fluff in order to get a few good takeaways, tune into the Art of Manliness podcast. They glean and distill the very best insights from the world's experts in self-improvement, philosophy, practical skills, history, and more, and do so in under an hour without all that eye-roll-inducing filler. You'll walk away from every episode of the Art of Manliness podcast with actionable insights you can start implementing today to improve your life. You can listen on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or other podcast players. That's good. Welcome back to History on the Rocks podcast. This is your host, Cody, and joining me, of course, my lovely wife, Audrey.
Hello, everybody.
She's back again. All right, well, last week we did the Pyramids of Sudan, which was a little bit different. This week we are going into our second part of our common phrases or idioms, which I'm going to use the word confidently from now on. Idioms. What are we drinking?
We are drinking Driftless Glen.
Driftless
right?
Glen, yes. Out of Baraboo, Wisconsin.
So we had talked about this other bottle that we had last week, and then all of a sudden, haven't looked it up, haven't done anything on my phone, and an ad for it pops up on my Instagram this week.
Yeah, the Driftless Glen ad popped up,
wait,
right?
What?
Yeah.
Our phones are always listening.
The devices are always listening. It's really creepy. Like, that happens more often than not, is when we're talking about something and then all of a sudden something's on either my Instagram feed or Facebook feed. It's
creepy.
Like, are we, like, that dumb?
I don't know.
Like, I don't know. Like, do these, like, companies, like, not realize, like, we know that we didn't type anything into our phone and that it must have heard us say something? Like, we know
like
you're listening to it. It has to know. Yeah.
I did not look anything up about it.
Yeah, that stuff drives me crazy. It's just so weird.
And I haven't taken a sip yet.
Oh, go for it. It's good. I took a sip during the intro while we were waiting. I was waiting to hit the record button.
That was pretty good. I like that.
It's got a good little bite to it, but it's not too... It's a single barrel. So I know you don't know, but it's a single barrel. It's a 5-year. So it's got more of that oaky taste to it. It's got more of that wood barrel taste.
Yeah.
It's smoky.
I like it.
Yeah. It's good. All right.
Let's get
into some idioms. This is going to be exciting. I like these next 10.
You showed me them, and then I was like, wait, no, I don't want to know what they are. I just want to be surprised.
Okay, so note for the future, don't show you them.
Yes.
All right.
Show me that.
Fine. All right, idiom number 1. Crocodile tears. I say this to our daughter very often.
Yeah, like you're crying, but like you're not really crying. There's no tears.
Yeah, or you're faking your tears.
You're faking
it's
your
to
tears,
pretend
yeah.
or fake being saddened by something, or faking your sorrow. So this phrase comes from a myth in which it is believed that when crocodiles devour their prey, they would be crying, therefore continuing to eat your prey but faking the sadness of your prey dying in your mouth.
All right.
The term is likely to have gained its popularity from the book The Voyage and Travel of Sir John Mandeville, which was first published in 1400 and read widely. The passage referring to the phrase is, quote, "In that country be a general plenty of crocodiles. These serpents slay men, and they eat them weeping," unquote. And this one was interesting because according to an article in Science Daily that I looked up, a University of Florida researcher, so the University of Florida, how, perfect as that, the Gators.
Mm-hmm.
His name is Kent Vliet. Yes, like my friend Eric.
Okay.
I don't think they have any relation. But Eric, if you listen to my podcast and Kent is related to you somehow, let me know. He studied 7 different alligators, which alligators are a close relative of the crocodile, right?
Mm-hmm.
The difference is mostly their color, size, and where they're located.
Mm-hmm.
He observed that 5 of the 7 gators did in fact tear up when eating their prey.
What?
Yes, he described it as their eyes even, quote, frothed and bubbled, end quote.
Huh. That's pretty interesting.
Yeah, so Science Daily, if you want to read more about that article where I got this information, the ScienceDaily.com, the title of the article, this is back from 2007, so good amount of time ago now, but the title is called No Faking It, Crocodile Tears Are Real.
They're so sad when they eat their prey, but they're not sad.
But are they?
No,
I doubt it.
I don't think so, or else they wouldn't do it.
Probably just eat the shit out of whatever it is, and they're probably crying because they're chewing so hard.
Yeah, or it's just like
It's probably not an emotional thing.
a response.
Yeah.
Like an automatic response.
But yeah, starting it off with crocodile tears today. I say to our daughter when she does her fake crying, oh, those are crocodile tears. You're not really that sad.
Oh.
You just need something.
Well,
Like attention.
yeah, I was going to say, I mean, a 7-month-old is sad for some reason, but sometimes there's really, really big tears coming down her face, and then other times it's like, wait, your eyes aren't even welling up, and you're just whining.
Faker.
And then you pick her up, and then she's fine.
Always. All right. Idiom number 2. This one's one of my favorites. Die hard. This has a lot of different meanings that you can use out, how you can use it as an idiom. But like, die hard.
You're a really big fan.
That's one of them.
A movie.
That's not one of them, but great movie, great Christmas movie. And no, I won't argue with anyone on that. It is a Christmas movie. Here is the list of meanings that I wrote down after researching it. Like, I would use it in 2 different ways. How you just use it, like, I'm a diehard fan, right? Like, I'm a diehard Blackhawks fan.
Same.
Or you can use it in a phrase as if, like, your idea is going to die hard. Like, they use this term in Congress a lot when they're writing bills and passing laws. Like, oh, that's going to die hard. Like, it's going to die fast.
Yeah, it's not going to last long.
Right. So here's like 8 different meanings that I wrote down.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
To disappear or change very slowly. Change or disappear gradually, which I guess is the same thing, just using different verbs.
Yeah.
To be daunting to an end or stop. Individuals who are stubbornly reactionary or conservative. Resisting change strongly. A determined person. A person who displays such resistance or loyalty, so that's like our fan one. And then take a long time to cease to exist or be dropped from consideration. So those are those are like 8 different meanings that you can technically use this idiom in. Basically, the phrase suggests some sort of situation where you struggle against death. In a book titled Psychologus, which was published in 1703, the phrase is used to describe the condemned man's approach towards death. Like, you're a diehard. You're slowly dying as you live your life. It's kind of like a psychological, in-depth philosophy.
Yeah.
However, in 1811, at the War of Albuera, as the Peninsular Battle took place, the commander of Britain's 57th Regiment of Foot urged the soldiers under him to die hard, in quotes. The soldiers acted with a lot of heroism, so the regiment was nicknamed the Diehards. The idiom was also used to describe the criminals who passed away resisting to the last in London's Tyburn gallows. Later in the century, people attached the name to different groups in British politics that opposed change. So that's a little bit of background on the idiom. What I read was, like, in London's gallows, like, a diehard was someone who was being hanged and, like, would die slowly.
Oh.
Like, would literally just suffocate under the rope instead of just dropping out of the gallows and dying with the noose around their neck. But it does have its footprint in British war history back in the 57th Regiment, which is now known as the Diehards. Basically go out there and fight to your last, give everything you got, leave it all out on the battlefield. So Die Hard has a lot of different kind of connotations of how you can use it.
Yeah, for sure. I think the only time I'd ever use it really is though, like, I'm a Die Hard fan.
Yeah. I think that's like the most I would use it. But I guess you could be like, you could tell someone you don't like, hey, go die hard. Die slowly.
Biggest insult ever.
Yeah. Oops. Idiom number 3, resting on your laurels.
Oh. I know I've heard it.
Should I use it in a sentence?
Go for it.
Audrey,
maybe that'll help.
Don't go resting on your laurels.
Great sentence.
Well,
that doesn't really help with context.
Well, if I give you context, it's pretty much just giving away what it means.
True. Yeah, I just can't explain it. Like,
Yeah.
I know it in my head, but
Yeah.
I can't explain it.
So it's to feel comfortable because of your past successes or being complacent with yourself, like not reaching to do more. So like if you did something successful, right, and you were like so proud of yourself, and I know you could do more, I'd be like, Audrey, don't go resting on your laurels. Like,
it's like, don't settle.
Yeah, don't settle. Like, you've been successful, but you can do way more too.
But you're being humble about it. Like, I'd be humble about like my success, but then you'd be like, well, no, like, you can do better.
I mean, that's one situation, or you could just be lazy and don't want to do more. So I could be like, don't go resting on your laurels, because you're not going to be that much of a success as people pass you by.
Oh, yeah.
That are going to be, doing better than you because you're being lazy and not working hard enough anymore. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So this goes back all the way to ancient Greece, and I actually knew this one before I researched it. But wreaths of laurels were handed out to victorious athletes in ancient Greece. It was believed that the god Apollo declared the laurel plant sacred after his true love, the nymph Daphne, was turned into a laurel plant. That is why Apollo was depicted wearing a crown of a laurel, as the Pythian Games honored Apollo, which are the modern-day Olympic Games. A laurel wreath was the appropriate prize for a victor, or a laureate. Sound familiar? A laureate?
No.
Okay, we'll get there in a second.
Okay.
The Romans borrowed the idea and began presenting laurel wreaths to victorious military commanders, but there was no implication that, quote-unquote, resting on them was bad. Roman generals could spend the rest of their careers savoring their past successes. The negative connotation and the saying only came about millennia after the decline of the ancient Greek and Roman empires. A laureate is still an esteemed title today, with recipients of the Nobel Prize being referred to as Nobel laureates.
Well, like, I know, like, a baccalaureate, isn't that your bachelor's degree?
Correct. That's why I asked you if it sounded familiar, because a laureate can be someone who is successful in education, or someone who's awarded some type of
honor.
Like honor, yeah, in education. So yeah, baccalaureate. Yeah, I think that's how you say it.
Bachelor's degree. Sorry, I was looking up what a laurel plant looked like. There's a lot of them.
Yeah, it's one of those
There's a lot of virgins.
If you look at laurels though, they're like those wreaths of leaves. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Like how.
Like most wreaths are.
Yeah, but instead of pine, like at Christmas time, it's pine. Yeah. Pine tree wreaths. Yeah. These are actual leafy
leaves.
Yeah.
Leafy.
So yeah, don't go resting on your laurels. So it's you can always do better. You can always do more and keep working harder. All right, number 4. Idiom number 4, break the ice.
Like, we're going to open up the conversation.
Yep. To ease tension or awkwardness of a situation. Our favorite thing to do as teachers, day 1 of school, is icebreakers.
Ugh.
That is sarcasm.
The worst.
Yes. Now let's do an icebreaker. No.
How about we don't?
Can we please just get on with this meeting?
How about we put it in an email?
Yeah. I'm a big fan of emails. It's just, the truth is, I understand that we're contracted to go to meetings, but they could be sent in an email sometimes.
They are sent in an email, actually.
That is true. So yeah, when we break the ice with someone, we ease tension or awkwardness of the situation. The phrase first appears in the literary work of Sir Thomas North. In his... sorry, every time I see like Sir, I feel like that's how you have to say it. His translation of Plutarch's Noble Grecians and Romans in 1579, which I took a class at NIU all about Plutarch, my ancient Greece. Was it ancient Rome? I think it was ancient Rome, with the guy from Argentina, and he had a great accent, and he was actually really fun to listen to because of his accent.
The professor?
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
He knew a lot about Plutarch, and I was like, I would hope
he would if he was teaching it.
That's true, but like this guy was like, it's like he knew Plutarch personally. That's how well he knew it.
Maybe he did in another life.
So, however, the excerpt translated goes, quote, to be the first to break the ice of the enterprise, unquote. So that's the first place that it appears in Plutarch's work. Secondly, the phrase can better be attributed to the way ships get stuck in Arctic waters and need what's called the icebreakers, which are the smaller ships, to literally break through the ice so that the larger vessel can flow freely, just like a conversation, right? You need something small to start with in order to break that ice for the bigger conversation to come. Yeah, break the ice is a pretty, I think, well-known one.
Yeah.
And that's used a lot.
I think so.
Like, I don't hear resting on your laurels a lot. I feel like that's a very sophisticated saying.
Yeah, I say it's proper.
Please don't go resting on your laurels, Sir Thomas North. We have listeners over in Britain, and they probably are like, dude, shut up.
Yeah, your accent's awful.
Like, sorry to all you listening out over across the pond. I'm not making fun of you. I just really wish I had an accent. Which to you, I guess I do, but... All right, number 5.
All right.
Bury the hatchet.
We're not going to talk about that anymore. We're just going to leave it.
Go further. So you're not... you're going to leave it, but what is, like, the end goal of burying the hatchet?
Done.
It's done.
It's done.
Right. So, like, the argument is resolved.
Yeah.
That's when you bury the hatchet. It's resolving the argument or creating peace. But, I mean, yeah, you can say, like, we're done talking about it, but, like, when you bury the hatchet, it's over.
Like, there is no more talking about it or discussing.
Yeah. Or, like, you came to
an agreement.
A peace, or you talked it out and everything's good again.
Mm-hmm.
This one's pretty literal. Native American chiefs would take part in ceremonies in which both chiefs of each tribe would bury their hatchets in the ground as a symbolic gesture of peace between their tribes, so no more killing. According to Iroquois legends, this was how 2 great native leaders convinced the 5 nations of the Mohawk, Oneida, Onondaga, Cayuga, and Seneca to form the Confederacy of the Iroquois. Their celebration of peace and alliance was that their chiefs buried their weapons beneath an old white pine tree. The phrase was also used in the Salem witch trials in 1680 by Judge Samuel Sewall. There's also mention of the phrase being used in colonial times between the British and Native Americans. That's pretty much all I found on Bury the Hatchet. Is the indigenous people of of North America use this as a literal symbolic gesture. Yeah. I think I did know that before I even researched this one, that I knew it was going to be literal.
I mean, it makes sense.
The Salem witch trials one was really interesting too. I love teaching the Salem witch trials in school because it's all about scapegoating.
You teach that in U.S. history?
Yeah, it's part of our, like, what is this, second unit, I think.
Oh.
Yeah.
I feel like I don't remember really learning about that in school.
Yeah, it's a really cool topic because it just shows how, like, people and mass hysteria, how you can blame someone so easily for your own problems. But yeah, the Salem witch trials is very interesting. Idiom number 6.
All right.
Cat got your tongue.
Oh, yeah. So what I think about when I hear this one is like a cat literally biting someone's tongue.
That would hurt like hell.
Yes, it would.
But
that's what comes to my mind.
It would get the meaning across, though.
Yeah, because I mean, literal. Cat got your tongue. But meaning wise, isn't it like you like don't have anything to say.
Yeah, like you made someone speechless and you're calling them out for it.
Yeah.
Or like someone's at a loss for words. Like usually it's something like you're catching someone in like a lie or something, you know, usually that kind of negative connotation where you're like, oh, cat got your tongue?
Mm-hmm.
Like,
nothing to say.
Bitch. But yeah, that's the meaning. So this one has another sinister kind of background, kind of like running amok in part 1. First of all, we'll go with the first part, which is the Royal British Navy in the 17 and 1800s. It was common for captains of a ship to flog a sailor for their misdeeds. You learned what flogging was?
Yes.
Recently?
In the Pirate Queens
Yeah, in
episode,
Pirate
right?
Queens, when we talk about flogging and quartering, which is my personal favorite. Cut off their head and cut them into 4 quarters.
It's gross.
Yeah, but the whip that the captain would use was called the Cat of Nine Tails, and it had 9 leather ropes with 3 knots at the end of each rope attached to a handle, and it's kind of like one of those, you know, those whips. So the captains would brutally whip their sailors, and it would cause them to have massive wounds, bleed, and pass out. Sailors could be whipped anywhere between 5 and 100 times, in which they literally were being beaten to be docile or completely silent.
Yeah, I mean, I think I would not say anything if I was whipped that many times.
Yeah, you pass out from the pain.
Yeah.
Wouldn't be able to say anything anyway.
No.
The second place that Cat Got Your Tongue comes from, even before the 1700s, all the way back to the Middle Ages, Christians feared witches and their hexes. Spooky. And believed that black cats were witches in second form. They also believed that the black cats were evil because they roamed only at night. It was believed that the witches would steal your tongue, making you unable to speak. So the correlation between the cat and the cat being the witch.
Mm-hmm.
And then the witch putting a hex on you and stealing your tongue.
So, yeah. The cat literally got your tongue.
Literally. But this goes even further back. All the way back to the ancient Egyptians. So the Egyptians worshipped cats.
Yes.
Like the big sphinx.
The sphinx,
right?
Yes.
However, the Egyptian government also used to cut out the tongue of those who were liars and blasphemers for speaking out of turn, bearing false witness, or saying something against the government or their established religion. They would feed those tongues to cats as the liars and blasphemers were unable to speak out ever again.
Mm-hmm. And the cat got your tongue.
Literally this time. And I'm pretty sure it was given to the cat as a sacrifice.
Okay, yeah.
So you guys pick whichever one you like best, but it does go all the way back to Egyptian times. There's really no official story here, that's for sure. But I think the Egyptian one makes the most sense. I like the witches one too, though.
Yeah, that's my favorite one. I like that story.
It's kind of the most recent, besides obviously the British Royal Navy part, but that people would use that kind of phrase with like witches in that time. Because witches were a big deal.
Yes, they were.
We were just talking about...
And black cats.
The Salem witch trials in the last idiom.
Mm-hmm.
On to idiom number 7.
Number 7.
One for the road.
One for the road.
Yeah.
We're going to take one to go.
Yeah.
A drink.
Take another drink before we leave. But this one, like, you can use for anything. It's just like one more of something before you leave.
Yeah.
The phrase was actually used first in British Parliament in the 1930s and was directly linked to alcohol. It was a plea from Lady Astor to the Prime Minister that the tiniest amount of alcohol was still dangerous for a person. Furthermore, this became a plea once automobiles started packing the roads to put a no alcohol limit on drivers. So like how we have like 0.08 in Illinois, that's our limit. But they wanted to make an absolute no alcohol limit in Britain pretty much in the 1930s because cars are obviously dangerous when you're drinking and driving.
Yeah. So wait, 0.08 is Illinois? That's not a federal
No,
thing?
it's a state law. It's different in different places. Like I'd have to look it up, but I think there's like a 0.06. Some have like 0.08, 0.10. I'm not sure is a thing. But I'm almost 100% positive that those are state laws.
I would have thought that was like a national thing.
It is not. It's kind of like your driver's license. Your driver's license isn't a federal thing. It's a state thing. So, like, the rules of your road in your state, they're different because, like, same with speed limits.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's under those kind of laws where the states have the right to do that.
Well, and isn't there, like, in Missouri, can't, like, passengers can have a drink?
You're asking me, but you're the one who told me that.
Yeah, that's what I was told.
Yeah.
I don't remember who told me that, but yeah, in Missouri, like, you could take a roadie.
You were down there for a bachelorette party, and you said that, like, the passengers in the car could drink as long as the driver wasn't. So, like, but that, again, that's another driving law. That's a state law.
But I think driving with alcohol as the driver, that's got to be, like, a federal thing.
No, it's probably still a state thing.
Just every state has that.
It's just
you can't drink.
Yeah, can't drink and drive.
Yeah.
It's not in the U.S. Constitution.
That's true.
Tell you that. So, British Parliament still allowed a drinking limit, and this limit was actually referred to as one for the road. Someone driving could have one for the road.
You can have one drink.
For the road.
And then get
and drive.
The road.
Yeah, you could have one drink at the pub.
That was the limit.
That was the limit, and now you can get in the car. So, that's a research on that. I know we have British listeners. Again, if any of you know better, that's a story that I read. So if that's not true, go ahead and shoot me an email because I thought that was interesting. Like, it made sense to me. Like, you can have one for the road to drive, but no more than that. So that's where it comes from.
Nice. I like that one.
All right. Idiom number 8. Wrong side of the bed.
Like, you got up on the wrong side of the bed. Okay. You're not in a good mood today.
Yeah, the meaning of obviously someone being in a bad mood or unhappy, or in general, just having a bad start to the day.
Mm-hmm.
The phrase goes back to ancient Rome, however, but it did not directly translate into English, so I wasn't able to find like where it actually started. However, superstitions made people think that there was a quote-unquote right side of the bed to wake up on, not the direction, but a correct side of the bed, and a wrong side, which could determine the outcome of your whole day. So in Roman times, it was very literal. People purposefully made sure not to get up on a certain side of their bed. Today, however, it is just an acknowledgement of someone's cranky mood. Some people say get up on the wrong side of the bed. Most people say woke up on the wrong side of the bed.
Yeah. Yeah,
this is a pretty straightforward one. There's even some, in some cultures, this phrase is used as you woke up on the wrong foot. So, like, you put the wrong foot down first.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, I think Catalan in Spain, they're fighting for their independence right now because they're a different cultural community. But that's a whole nother topic. But their custom is, like, I believe they put their right foot down first before their left to start their day correctly, is what I read.
That's really interesting.
So instead of waking up on a different side of the bed, it's putting the right foot down on the right side of the bed.
I feel like I always, I always get out of bed on the same side.
Right. You're always getting out on the right side. I always get up on the left side.
I don't know. With the way I probably roll out, I probably put my right foot down first.
I think I always lead with my right foot. No, maybe my left, just because I get out that way.
I don't know.
But I mostly, like, sit up first. I, like, sit up first and then get up. Like, I don't just, like, roll out.
Sometimes I just roll out.
It depends on how I feel, I guess.
Or sometimes it's really hard for me to get out because there's a dog in the way.
Yeah.
Or get in because there's
a dog in the way. Damn it, Oakley. All right. Idiom number 9. Put a sock in it.
Shut up.
Yeah, pretty much. Telling someone to stop speaking or to be more direct and rude. Shut up. This one's pretty literal. In the early 20th century, this phrase is most associated with the horn of an early gramophone. What your dad has in his... Remember when I put my phone in it?
Oh,
the big horn?
Yeah.
To quiet it down, people used to literally shove their socks in it.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense.
So you could, like, either completely silence it or muffle it by using your sock with, like, how far you put it down into it.
Well, don't instruments that have like brass instruments, they do like a musical thing like with a I don't know, I couldn't tell you what it is, but to do muffle the sound
You'll
and
see
stuff.
trombone players. I think it's like a block of foam that fits into the horn,
Mm-hmm.
and like the French horn, you put your hand in. I know that.
Yeah.
You can put your
That's
hand in the
right.
French horn to do it. Trumpeters sometimes will use it to kind of muffle the sound, to play
Or
softer.
like to do that like meow.
Yeah, it's like different effects you can do, which is really cool. But yeah, it's like to like muffle the sound or like to change the volume of the horn, because horns are just freaking loud.
Yeah.
I mean, there's really no controlling them, like, you know, with a volume knob, like how speakers work. So yeah, you have to use some sort of kind of muffling device to quiet them down or
Yeah.
silence them completely. All right, number 10, One Fell Swoop.
We didn't do what we said we were going to do for
I know.
this
We were going to
one.
watch Nate Bargatze because he does a hysterical bit
Oh my
on
God, it's so good.
the idiom One Fell Swoop, of where his wife and him like were going around doing a bunch of things, and he's like, this is not one fell swoop.
This was not
took
one
way
fell swoop.
longer than it was supposed to.
Well, no, because she was saying about how, okay, so one fell swoop, like doing it all in one.
Right.
I think she was like, well, we're going to go here, but then we're going to come back, and then we'll go to the next place. And he's like, wait, that's not
one fell swoop. No, but it's, if you haven't checked out Nate Bargatze, you have to.
Oh,
he's one of the best comedians
so
I've ever
funny.
seen, and he's hysterical. But yeah, his bit on One Fell Swoop is just phenomenal, because it's just married life in general.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. But yeah, the meaning, like Audrey said, is to do it all at the same time or in a row, right? Get it all done at once. This is actually a phrase that comes from Shakespeare in the famous Macbeth. The character of Macduff uses the phrase, quote, all my pretty ones, did you say all? Oh, hellkite, all? What, all my pretty chickens and their dam at one fell swoop, end quote, after finding out that thugs had murdered his whole family.
In one fell swoop.
In one fell swoop. Yep. Now, the word fell is originally meaning savage, cruel, or fierce, while swoop is referred to as the bird's action.
Yeah.
So think of it as one savage attack. Today, however, we usually use it in the sense of doing multiple things in one run, such as like errands.
Yeah.
We go do in one fell swoop. Like, we're going to go to Target, and then we're going to go to Hy-Vee, and then we're going to go to the liquor store in one fell swoop.
In one fell swoop. There's a liquor store in Hy-Vee, or a liquor section.
But it's a pain in the ass. No, that's Jewel. Sorry.
Well, no, the one in Hy-Vee is kind of a pain in the ass too, because you have to buy the liquor in
their liquor section. You
but
can't.
It's like, and I don't go there first, and I don't necessarily go there last.
Right.
Or if I go there last, it's like, no, I got to go to the other checkout.
I'm pretty sure Jewel, you have to
whatever.
buy it at their liquor section too, because they always have someone at the counter. I don't think you can actually just take the alcohol and go down.
It's same with Meijer too.
What are they doing to us?
I don't know.
Making it harder for us to buy alcohol at grocery stores.
Yeah, because a lot of people do self-check.
It doesn't matter. The liquor store, except for Schnucks, the liquor stores are usually cheaper anyway, around here at least.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't really pay attention. Usually if I'm going to get something, like I'm purchasing it regardless of the price.
I'm buying all this alcohol in one fell swoop. But yeah, it comes from Shakespeare and Macbeth, and it was just utilized throughout the English language, and it's kind of snowballed into how we use it today.
A common phrase.
Yeah, very common. Well, this was a nice short episode.
Yeah, short and sweet.
Yeah, short and sweet today, which is probably a good thing.
Yeah.
Because starting next week.
Oh, yeah.
I hope you all tune in, because next week we're starting a 2-part episode. So 2 weeks in a row on the horse soldiers of Afghanistan.
Yeah, I'm excited about that.
Yeah, so this is, just in short, it's the story of our special forces that went into Afghanistan right after the 9/11 attacks, when George W. Bush ordered our military at war with Al-Qaeda and the Taliban. And I have a great story to tell, and I'm really excited for it. Plus, we have a highlighted whiskey that's going to go along with our episode, so stay tuned for that as well. I hope everyone's enjoying March Madness, because as we're recording this podcast, we have it on in the basement.
Illinois is winning, by the way.
Illinois is winning.
34-13.
Oh, I see that. And I need Oakland to go I need Oakland +6 in my bet, and I need NC State to win, and they are currently in overtime as we're recording this. So I hope people are just enjoying March Madness, because there has been some crazy stuff happening the last couple days in the round of 64 and now the round of 32. And it's just, I'm not a big basketball fan, but college basketball, I really like the bracket, and it's really fun to watch.
It is fun. That's the only basketball I ever watch is March Madness.
But these young kids, they're really out there putting everything on the floor, and it's actually really fun to watch, and I love seeing all the upsets and all that stuff. So, but yeah, another successful episode.
Yeah.
Again, please come back next week for Horse Soldiers. Tell your friends about it. Tell your family. Tell strangers on the street to go to historyontherockspodcast.com. Check out our website. I've been putting up more information and visuals for you about each episode. And that's the thing for next week. I've been working so hard on this map on Google Earth that integrates into the podcast that you'll be able to follow along with while we do the podcast. So I'm just really excited about Horse Soldiers. I think this is...
Yeah, I'm excited for the story about it.
It's really weird because I, watch a lot of war movies and I pay attention to all that kind of stuff. It's one of my favorite things to read about. And I didn't know this story until 23 years later. We hope you all have a great rest of your weekend. I also have to apologize for not putting out a history shots yesterday. I've been feeling a little sick, so I've been going to bed earlier, and I just couldn't get one out this week. But I will have another history shots coming out. Again, go like, follow, share on Instagram and Facebook. Again, check out historyontherockspodcast.com. And we're working on merch still. I think I have some t-shirts and stickers on the way. I've been talking to some people. So that should be fun. Anything else?
I don't have anything else. No.
All right. Thank you for listening to the History on the Rocks podcast. Enjoy your weekend. Go relax. Throw some drinks back. We'll see you all next week.
And happy Easter.
And yes, happy Easter to all of you who celebrate. We will see you next week for another great edition of History on the Rocks podcast.
Bye.
Cheers.